Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by mycar, Tyre Auto, Carloop, data to empower Australia's EV revolution, and Hankook, driving emotion. Hey everyone, I'm Tom and this is Joy.
Hello.
And behind us we've got the GT-Line variant of the Kia EV3. We are going to compare it to the Kia EV3 Air, which we had last week, and give you our thoughts on the car. So let's go check it out. Alright, so there are 4 variants in the EV3 family. We had the Air standard range last week, and this one is the GT-Line long range, so top of the line, and then there's 2 variants in between, the Air long range and also the Earth long range. They range anywhere from $47,600 for the Air standard range we had last week, all the way to this one, $63,950. So that's a $16,000 difference between last week and this week before on-road costs. All of them have a front-wheel drive powertrain. All of them have the same output, 150 kilowatts and 283 newton meters of torque, which is interesting because they all have a different 0 to 100 kilometer an hour time. So 7.5 seconds last week, that's the fastest of the family. And then this one is 7.9 seconds for the GT-Line. Interesting, the GT-Line is slower than the Air standard range. The Air standard range has the smaller battery, 58 kilowatt hour, versus the rest of the family at 81 kilowatt hour. All of them have a NMC battery. Different efficiency as well. So the Air range is 14.9 versus 16.2 for the Earth and this one GT-Line, which means that the WLTP range is disproportionate. So Air standard range is 436 kilometers versus 563 for the long range Earth and GT-Line, whereas the Air long range is the best of the lot at 604 kilometers. All of them can charge at 11 kilowatt AC. The Air standard range can charge at 100 kilowatt DC, whereas the rest of the family can charge a bit faster, 127 kilowatts. They are all of similar size in terms of length, width and height. However, the variants with the larger battery are 90 kilograms heavier. All right, let's do our usual walk around. So this is quite a nice screen, to be honest with you.
It is a very nice screen. Like when we saw it at the motor show, I think under the lights, it was almost a bit too much. But when you actually see it out and about in real life, it's actually more subtle and looks quite nice.
Yeah, it's almost like a matcha type of green.
Yeah, but a muted matcha, like not like a very strong bitter matcha, but like a matcha with milk or something.
Yeah, the headlights are different too in the GT-Line, so they call it LED light cubes. You can kind of see it there actually, so that's what differentiates it from the rest of the family. I'll just step out of the shadow. There's also welcome lights that come with the car. The wheels are different too. We call this the special 19-inch special GT-Line wheels. And the Earth and GT-Line also have a 19-inch Hankook Tyres as well. You can see their special Ion EVO tyres. And as regular viewers know, Hankook is a sponsor of the channel too, so nice plug for our channel sponsors. And the GT-Line actually has a lot of what they call gloss black, or commonly known as piano black. So you can see it everywhere. I guess they feel like the glossy black adds a bit of luxury to it. You can see around the wheel arches too, mirror, even on the high contact areas down here. And then up the top here as well, across the A-pillar, on the roof rails. So clearly they can see that the gloss black makes it stand out from the rest of the pack. Even up the back as well, there's gloss black all the way throughout.
I'm just going to point out the rear tinted windows because this is only available in this one, I think.
That's true.
Only the top of the line, right?
Only the GT-Line, which is this one. And up the back here, full LED taillights as well. And the GT-Line, together with the Earth variant, has powered tailgates too.
Hurrah!
Yay for powered tailgates. Buttons here. Yay. Boot size is actually a little bit smaller. You might recall in the Air review, there was a bit more carriage here, but I think the subwoofer of the Harman Kardon speaker sits here, so that takes up that space. Same sort of hard plastic, but you can see, little storage area. And then I think this floor can actually go lower. Yeah, so you can have
and it's got that
space.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was sitting there in the other one that we saw. Is it?
Yeah, possibly. Anyway, there's 2 levels.
Yep.
And then under here you've got space for extra storage. It kind of looks like it should be like a spare tire or something in there, right?
That's what we said last time.
Yeah, but it's not. And obviously the same cables and so on that come with it.
Yep.
As they did for the other ones. I'll put that down here so you can see how much space they've got.
When you've got that on a lower level, there's definitely a lot more space.
And you've got this extra screen as well. It's not a parcel shelf as such, but you've got a screen just to protect, I guess, a privacy screen. The same sort of weird seats where you can't fold them back.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because we thought maybe with the top spec you'd be able to go back.
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, the GT-Line also cannot fold the seats back. That's the max.
You know what? You can tell because of that.
Yeah, it's a little latch there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strange, but...
Actually, yeah, because there's no way that could go back.
No. I do like the power tailgates though, that's good. So it helps with mobility issues, right?
Yeah.
There's a rear camera there. There's no 360 camera as well in this variant either. Same rear wiper under there, so that's good, tucked in there, which is great. Yeah. Charge port's also on the front right here.
Yeah, we passed it earlier.
Yeah, same sort of setup.
I imagine it's exactly the same as in the base spec.
Yep, charging lights and so on.
Yep.
That's all there.
And sensible labelling.
Yep. Let's check out the size of the front. It should be pretty similar. Okay, let's have a look inside here. There's a little latch there and same sort of storage space as well. So someone said before in the previous video you can put like charging cables in there too. So that's big enough for that. Okay, you just see here there's a head-up display, which I think is only available in the GT-Line variant as well. So that's something extra that's included. Okay, so that's a quick walk around of the exterior of the Kia EV3. Let's head inside and check out some of the interior features. Okay, so some more differences between the GT-Line and the rest of the pack. So for the interior, you get powered seats for the passenger as well. You can see on Joy's side. You get powered controls for driver only for the Earth long range variant. And you also get heated and ventilated seats for the front as well for Earth. And then on the driver's side, you can see the powered seats there. There's actually a setting here that can, I think, bring the seat back on my side. Let's have a look. So you can, I think it's, they call it relaxation setting. See that? I guess when you're charging, the seat goes back.
Actually, and the other thing to mention about the passenger side is that it does that thing where it goes back a bit when you open the car door so that you can get in.
Oh yeah, easy entry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually don't like easy entry. I find it more annoying. So, yeah, back. I'll just call that frustrating entry.
I think you can turn it off, pretty sure in the settings.
Yeah. I'm sure you can.
And also for the GT-Line variant, you get seat memory positions 1 and 2. That's just for GT-Line. And you get heated steering as well for both Earth and GT-Line 2. And I've got to say, I do like this trim a lot more compared to the Air last week. There's just a lot more softer materials throughout. And this white actually breaks it up as well. That's quite nice. Yeah,
I actually forgot. This actually made me completely forget how budget the other one was.
Yeah.
Because this is, it's like incomparably different, this one. It's like you wouldn't even realize it was the same. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually the same brand.
I agree. I mean, it's the same shell, but the materials make such a difference.
It does make such a big difference.
And it's been such a nice driving experience when you're sitting in it. And as you'll see as we go for a drive, it's actually a better drive as well.
It matches the car now. I think the other one, it's like, I think it was, negatively impacting kind of like what people would think of the car.
Yeah, correct. Just some more GT-Line specials there. There's a performance pedals you can see. Just climb in. The screens are all the same, so we won't go through that too much. Both the instrument cluster and the center, and also the infotainment screen. Yeah, that's all pretty similar.
Yep. My manual vents that I love. Yep. Manual volume control for the passenger, because you can do the volume on the steering wheel, can't you?
That's right.
So this is just for the passenger.
Even the steering wheel, I think, looks better too. It's got a two-toners to it. It's softer to touch too. Feels less cheap. Dare I say it? Yeah, well, that's very similar.
And I did get back pain in this car.
Yeah.
Did you still get a bit of back pain?
A little bit, but I think less. The materials do help as well. You can see it's, I think it's actual leather, these seats here. Let me have a look.
But there must be something about the material that like absorbs whatever better, like the bumps and things.
Yeah, I think it's cushioned better.
Yep. Yeah, cushioning, that's the word I couldn't think of.
Yeah, I think the special GT-Line, I'm not sure whether it's faux leather or leather, but the Earth variant's definitely faux leather. What's really odd about this variant though is this this little table here. I think we called it the Caesar Slope bench top.
Yeah, chopping
in the
board.
Everything Electric show.
Yep.
It's nice to have, I guess.
Because you, as you said, you lose out on the storage here.
Yeah, there was a little center storage area here in the other variant.
But I did try sitting in the driver's seat with the seat all the way back and use this as a mouse pad. And that actually worked quite well.
Yep.
I was sitting there for a good hour, I think.
Yeah, you can put your laptop.
Away.
You can put your laptop on there too, as well, I guess.
Yep. I mean, I guess for most right-handers, you'd probably want to sit on the passenger side to do that, but it was actually just right for me as a lefty.
Well, if you drove this car in like Korea, for example, it's a left-hand drive country, so you put your right hand here. So maybe that's what it's designed for.
Maybe.
But you can see the trim looks a lot better. There's still a bit of plastic around, but I think they have padded it or something because it feels a lot better. And all my stuff is the same this week as last week, and there's definitely a noticeable difference because it doesn't rattle around as much
that's
when
right.
I drive.
I didn't even realise that.
Oh,
And
I
now
noticed
that
that, don't worry.
Yeah, now that you've mentioned it, because you're right, it's the same stuff. It's all loose,
Yep.
and yet it's not rattling around. So it must be. No, you know what? It's different because this is like a little bit rubbery.
Yeah.
And last week it was just that kind of like
Hard plastic.
Yeah. It's a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
To be fair, you could probably just buy that sort of rubbery grip if you bought the Air variant and just line it yourself.
Correct. Other sort of differences between last week and this week, so auto dimming mirrors in the Earth and this trim, and also you get Harman Kardon speakers for the GT line, which I must say makes a huge difference.
They are fabulous. It's honestly, I think it's actually maybe a little bit better than my Model Y.
Yep.
Which I was not expecting at all.
I mean, last week you said the Air standard range car had a really good sound system.
Yeah.
And now it's crazy good.
Yep.
It's really good. There's a Sunshade as well, so I'm not sure whether this is available in the Earth trim, but certainly it's an opening vent there for this trim with a bug guard. So it's good to have best of both worlds. If you don't want the sun to come in, just shut it. It's powered too, so it's good. This is the same light, and this extends out as well. So, there you go. Oops, missed.
It's still quite an old school light, isn't it? It's not like your newer kind of LED lights. It looks.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably still is LED, but they just made it look really old school.
Let's have a look at the back real quick. So more piano black. You can see the trim applies also to the back.
I mean, it's the same issue that I feel a little bit cramped, but it's a lot more comfortable. So it's the same space, but slightly more comfortable.
Yeah, the materials do make a big difference.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything's the same.
Yep.
Flat floor, map pockets, storage there, USB ports on the side of the seats. So
I actually kind of like the fact that they're high up. I'm becoming a fan of not having it on the floor.
Yep. Looks neater. Harman Kardon. Nice. Alright, I guess it's time to go for a drive. Okay, so let's go for a drive. First, just around the streets here, and then we're going to go on the freeway just to test the ride comfort and all that. What else can I say? So there's, like I said, there's no 360 camera. It's just the same rear camera, which is, I guess, the most essential thing you must have when you buy a new car. But unfortunately, there's no front camera. I guess you can change what it looks like, top down or a wider shot, but it's all the same, all rear cameras. Okay, let's head off for a drive. Let's do it. So just get rid of the camera there. There we go. Let's get out of here. There's a good spot to film, actually. Lots of open space. A few bings and bongs still, but probably not as annoying as some of the cars we've tested. And just this week, it's been a pretty comfortable ride compared to the Air. I know it's the same car and the same powertrain and all that, but there is a difference. It's weird. I was trying to look up whether there's any torque vectoring for the upper variants, but I don't think there is. I think it's the same powertrain. But for some reason, there's still sway, a bit of roll because it's a high car, but less than the Air variant. And one thing I've noticed is that there is definitely less torque steering, which is unusual for a front-wheel drive car. Normally there's torque steering because of the extra torque in an EV, so happens with front-wheel drive vehicles. But with this one, I've tried to replicate it in this car compared to the Air we had last week, but I've been unsuccessful in trying to get the car to wibble wobble, as we said last week.
Yeah, and it was still also raining, so the rain conditions were the same. I'm assuming you were accelerating the same kind of coming out of the turn.
Yep.
So the only difference being that I guess this is like the 0 to 100 is actually a little bit slower. So as you were saying, it's like heavier maybe, and then that's what makes it more stable.
Yeah, maybe the balance is better in this car, like power to weight ratio. Hence why it's not wobbling around when you accelerate out of a turn. But yeah, regardless, it's definitely a better drive. We haven't driven the Earth yet, so I can't comment on that. But certainly in the GT-Line variant, it's a lot more stable. The ride quality, like I said, still a little bit of sway around corners, but it's actually fairly comfortable ride. I dare say even possibly a less floatier ride than the Air we had last week. Maybe again due to the weight, not sure. But it's been good. See, I'm at a stop now, and if I'm going to put a little bit of acceleration in this car, around the corner. If I had put that much acceleration in last week's car, it definitely would have wobbled out the back.
Even going at, like, accelerating to all of 30 kilometers an hour, like, it's not like you're going at, 60 or 100 or something.
No, that's right. So, it's good. So, it might be worth the money for the better drive experience. Right, well, we'll get Joy to drive on the city roads later too, but that's my thoughts just on an urban drive. What we'll do now is drive on the freeway, so stay tuned. We'll get you back very shortly. Okay, so you can see some of the interior lighting inside the car here. It's all on the doors and on the front. And I think they change colours when you change drive mode. So I'm currently on normal, so the drive mode button's here. So that's sport, it goes red.
That's a papaya orange to me.
And then this is my drive, which is the custom one. And then snow. And then eco, which is this turquoisey colour. And then back to normal, which is where I have it for all my tests, just on normal mode. Alright, so we're back on the M2, which we love because, again, different road conditions, and here we are on the corrugated bit. I think much the same in terms of insulation compared to last week. And then to put cruise control, it's this button here, so there it is there. Pop that on. And if you want that Autosteer component, it's this button here. And then you can roll up and down there as well, just to go up and down by 1, so hold down to go up and down by 10. There we go. And that's for the follow distance. So go nice and close to the car ahead. Okay, there we go. It's very easy. That's the driver monitoring alert, because I've been touching and showing you guys the cruise control. Yeah, so in terms of economy, I've driven down to 45% at the moment because we picked up the car with 100%, so there it is, 267 kilometers. So I reckon if you can get 450 kilometers plus on this car, you're doing pretty well. With the economy at about 16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's about what I've been driving at this week. I don't know whether you can see the head-up display. Someone wanted to know about it last week. It's hard to show on camera, but...
So also you're driving into the sun at the moment?
Yeah. I'm wearing polarized sunnies, so... it's hard to see with polarized sunnies on. But with the head-up display, you can see... well, I can see the cruise control active, the posted speed sign, the speedometer, and also if you've got the native nav, then you can see the directions turn by turn as well. So it's a fairly informative head-up display.
This is a good bit of the road.
Yes, it's a lot nicer now. As we said before, the sound system is crazy good in this car. Really good, actually. This is our son's song. Let's play that. Here's a control. Leave that on. Wow, feel that bass.
Which is not distorting.
No.
And it's also not drowning out the mids or the trebles.
That is a true bass. You saw the subwoofer in the back there. So yeah, as we said, we thought last week's sound system was pretty good already. I already gave that, I think, an 8. This is like 9 out of 10. It's pretty good. And we're back on the corrugations.
Having obviously listened to this song a lot of times in my Y, I can tell you that this sounds better here than in my Y. Like, I can definitively say that now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. There you go.
I know this song very well, obviously. Being mum's obviously got to be the biggest supporter, right?
Being a proud mum. There you go. So, yeah, I think that on the highway is pretty similar. You're not really turning too much. So, I think the difference with the drive experience is definitely on the urban roads, which I'll get Joy to check out once we turn off here and do a driver swap. So stay tuned, everyone. All right, so Joy is in the car and drive mode button is there.
I was going to say that's the only thing I need to do after obviously adjusting the mirrors and everything, just to pop it into sport mode.
Sport.
Okay. Now it's already on, isn't it? Power.
It's on, yeah.
So I don't have to press that button.
That's right. But the gear
I just need
shift
to,
is there.
yes,
Yep.
which I'm used to now, thanks to well, not used to, but I'm a bit more familiar with it thanks to last week.
I can get a shot of the head-up display for you guys. Can you see it through
I
the
don't
screen?
think so.
No, it's hard. I know.
Let me just pop this.
It is hard to see on camera.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anything's showing up there.
Hopefully you guys see something.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah, hopefully you guys saw something. All right, back on the freeway.
Okay. Okay, left, isn't it?
Yeah. Do a bit of torque steering here, or try to.
Well, no, because I'm going to drive sensibly.
But that's the thing about front-wheel drives. Even like an average driver might experience it too. It's pretty good.
Oh, you're right.
Nothing, right?
You're right, yeah. I was expecting something, but I didn't have to kind of like, because I mean, I don't know what you mean by torque steering, but for me, in the terms that I understand, I didn't feel like I had to kind of grab the car again.
Yeah.
So that's just my understanding of it.
It didn't wobble.
Yeah, there was no wibbly wobbly.
Mm.
Like the car went where I expected it to go.
It's good.
And didn't do anything strange. Left here?
Yes, left here on the tunnel. Into the tunnel. No, not the tunnel. Into the freeway. See, sometimes you might even get some torque steering here in front-wheel drive at this point.
That's true, because when we did the Costco run, I did like this same sort of thing, accelerated onto the on-ramp. And yeah, it was definitely wibble wobble, but it didn't do that. No, and you're right. It's like nothing at all.
No, it's pretty stable.
Yeah. Okay.
Impressive.
See, and that's why it's one of those things where like you have to kind of just try the car for yourself. You have to go and test drive it and not just listen to other people, because when I heard Tom go on about it, I was just sort of like, yeah,
Whatever.
You're probably just imagining it. Like it's not really that different. And you know, if you've seen enough of our videos, you know that I'm not just going to believe something because he said it. So
that's why you're here, to verify what I say.
Okay. I'll actually agree.
Thank you. It's hard sometimes talking to yourself, like, am I saying the right thing? I don't know.
Well, and also because like it's not like I know cars that well. Like for me, I just you know, I talk about cars in terms that I understand, not necessarily like the technical terms or whatever. I may not be, you know, accurately describing whatever the thing actually is, but I'm just explaining it in the way I'm experiencing it.
Yeah, I'm not a car journalist either. Neither am I an engineer, so just pick up stuff along the way over the years. We try to be the every person for you guys.
Oh, okay. I pressed the cruise control button.
Nice.
And now a whole bunch of other, like a whole bunch of explaining words came up on the head-up display.
Oh, okay.
Which is honestly was way too much to read. It's gone now. I don't know. It was a lot of words.
So wordy.
But now it's good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming obviously the tech for the cruise control and lane keeping is the same as what was in the Air model.
I think so.
Yeah, which is good. That you know, the base model still gets 100% of the tech. Which I think is more than can be said for other brands, right? Like
sometimes,
in terms of, like Tesla, for example, don't you have to pay more for kind of like the
the FSD capability, yes, and the enhanced autopilot does cost more. Yep.
Yes, so the autopilot costs more, right?
Enhanced autopilot.
Okay, but this one it seems like there's not like a better version of cruise control that you're missing out on or something.
No, true.
Yeah.
But this is pretty much the equivalent of basic autopilot anyway, I suppose, in Tesla.
Still.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though.
It's just nice that everybody gets the same tech. Hang on, am I turning left?
Yeah, let's turn left.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try a different exit. Okay, so Joy's going to do a bit of a handling test on Lady Game Drive, just within the speed limit, of course. She can tell us what it's like in terms of ride comfort and suspension. And yes, it does have Apple Wireless CarPlay as well as Android Auto. Well, that's quite responsive. Dark mode.
Yeah. That was very quick switch.
I must clarify, there is a little bit of torque steering if you really pump it, like if you really foot to floor, which I did maybe once to try, and it did replicate, but nowhere to the extent it was in the Air variant. You have to really push it.
Yeah, most turns it would occur, isn't it?
Yep.
In the Air variant.
Yep. It was not a pleasurable driving experience. Whereas this, I actually quite enjoy driving this week. So if I was to buy this car, I'd probably skip the Air variant, honestly.
I feel like I'm in a bigger SUV. I know I said that with the Air variant, but I'm going to say it again because it really feels like a bigger car. I forget that I'm actually in a smaller car, and I didn't even pump the seat up to its maximum. The maximum was actually too high for me, and I just put it a bit lower again. So yeah,
that's the bonus of this car, right? It's a small car, 4.3 meters, but it still feels and looks like a big car, and it's spacious, as you saw in the back.
I guess you'd have to start thinking though that for the price that you pay for this top spec,
yes,
you could get, like, in terms of the other cars on the market, there's a lot of other, I don't know, I guess that's if you wanted a bigger car, isn't it? Yeah, which you may not. Yeah,
we'll talk about that for sure in terms of pricing and the competition. Yeah, that's a good point though you make. The GT-Line, as nice as this looks, it's creeping up to other sort of segments, other brands as well. So yeah, we'll talk about that very shortly. So there it is. What do you think, Joy? Just real quick on that.
It's very smooth and comfortable, isn't it? Which, yeah, as we keep harping back on, couldn't really be said for the Air variant.
Yep.
Like, this is a much more comfortable ride.
Yep, I agree. It feels like a far more refined vehicle compared to last week. So yeah, this would be the EV3 I would get if there was if money was no object.
And look, it is a premium price, but it is a premium car. Like, I can understand why they've you know what I mean? Like the kind of additional extras you get with this do actually make a huge difference. So yeah. Yep.
To the overall experience.
Yep.
Correct. All right, we'll park the car somewhere and then give you our thoughts in a very short while. So stay tuned. Okay, so it's time for our roundup, and before I forget, we looked it up just then. The Kia EV3 apparently has electronic torque vectoring, which means that it can, by software, correct the torque steering we're talking about. It's definitely more noticeable in the GT-Line spec compared to last week's Air variant. So I suggest you also try the Earth variant as well to see whether that's noticeable for your driving style.
In terms of what it actually felt like for me, there's one particular left turn that I do where you pretty much have to accelerate quite quickly out of the turn because it goes from a 60 into an 80, from a 60 zone to an 80 zone within like less than 100 meters of that. So that's when you would actually use it and feel it. And it just kind of felt like the steering wheel, there was like some sort of software or something stabilizing the steering wheel. That's what it just physically felt like to me. Like that's what made him look it up, because I was like, oh, I just felt something really weird with the steering wheel then. Not weird, but as in like I felt something with the steering wheel, like it was actually doing something. So that's just from someone who knows nothing about what torque vectoring means, but that's just what it felt like.
Well, we know the Hyundai Kona has it as well, so obviously across the Kia Hyundai platforms, they're sharing the tech, which is good. So I guess the question we need to ask is this car, the GT-Line spec, worth $16,000 more compared to last week's Air standard range? And is this car worth $5,000 more than the Earth variant, which is the one in between, I guess, the three major variants, Air, Earth and GT-Line. So yes, the car is nicer, it's a more comfortable ride, better drive experience, looks nicer as well on the inside. Other specs, it's got more range obviously, but it suffers from efficiency and has a faster charge rate, and has the torque vectoring that we talked about just then.
So you think the base one doesn't?
I don't
Or at
know.
least we couldn't really
Didn't
feel
notice it as much. Yeah, so yeah, is it worth $16,000? That's the question.
I mean, I feel like the very base model of this one was actually a really good car if it wasn't for the interior, which kind of really let it down. But yeah, I mean, $16,000 is a lot of money. But I feel like you get quite like a lot for that $16,000. And if you're going to be driving this every day, which let's face it, why are you buying a car if you're not sort of pretty much driving it every day? Then I think if it makes the ride quality and the feel of the car so much nicer for your daily drive and for every time you step in the car, then I think it's worth it. So yeah.
Yeah, I would have to see the Earth variant first to see whether I can get away with $5,000 less if the drive experience was as good as I found this week in the GT line. I mean, I can live without things like the gloss black around the car, the LED light cubes, the special tires, special wheels. I mean, the tailgate, was that also included as well? Let me see. Yes, power tailgate is included as well in the Earth variant, so that's good.
I feel though, like if you're a Kia fan though, I think you would really like this top spec car. Like, you know, this is a really good car for, you know, for a Kia brand.
No, it's a good car, definitely. I mean, price is always going to come into play, but it is a nice car in its own right.
Yeah.
Head-up display is nice, and the sound system, as we said, is pretty damn good.
Yep. I mean, like I can only compare it to the car that I drive every day, and it's better than the car I drive every day.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so the other issue is the problem with this car is that the price is suddenly impinging on other cars of other brands that, you know, arguably are more reputable. Depends on your point of view, but for example, for the Volvo EX30, right, $59,000. So you can actually get that car over this car with $4,000 in change.
Yeah. But like I said, if you're a Kia fan, I think this.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why reputable is a subjective term.
Yeah.
And for this price, $63,000, it's in between a rear-wheel drive and long-range Tesla Model Y. So that's that for reference. Take it or leave it. But yeah, as Joy said, if you really want a Kia, if you really want a car this size, then I think this is not a bad option, Kia EV3. And for $16,000, you do get a lot of inclusions. Bigger battery, better trim, better drive experience, better charge rate as well.
Yeah, like I think and I know I keep harping on this, like if the Chinese brands didn't exist, I think this would be like a really great competitive car. The trouble is that the Chinese cars exist. So, you know, like we're living in a world now where people, there are other cars out there that have got similar tech and much nicer interior. Okay, as nice as this one, but much nicer interiors than the Air for less, probably 20-30% less.
Yeah, Seeker X, for example. You can get a rear-wheel drive for $49,000 now, so much cheaper and arguably equivalent interior too, and good drive experience.
So, I mean, it's fair if you are paying for the fact that Kia's been around for a long time. You know they're not going to disappear or go anywhere overnight. So, if you're happy to pay a little bit of a premium to know that, this is a good, reliable brand, then this is a really sensible choice. But if you're just buying purely on like value for money, then this is like, you can't call this value for money when Chinese brands exist.
No.
So, yeah, like it's okay value for money because you're paying the premium for the fact that it's a Kia, but it's not the best value for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call this GT line the treat yourself Kia. Go on, treat yourself. It's a nice car. Let's face it, right?
Yeah.
Price aside, if money wasn't an object, then it's actually quite a nice car.
And if
to
you're
drive.
coming from another Kia, like I guess everything will be familiar, and then it'll be easier to kind of adjust to having an EV rather than a nice car.
Yeah.
So.
No, this is true.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our roundup of the Kia EV3. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Which variant would you buy between the different variants that we discussed for the EV3? And leave your thoughts as to whether you think the GT line is correctly priced, or whether you would go for another option, as Joy said, some of the Chinese brands out there, or even the Volvo EX30, which is actually cheaper than this car, believe it or not. But that's it from Joy and myself for this video. Until the next Ludicrous Feed video, it's happy charging.